¿Qué tal, amigos? ¿Cómo están? Espero que todos estén muy bien. Recientemente tuve el agrado de conversar con Samantha Gibb, hija de Morris Gibb, quien tan gentilmente me concedió una entrevista. Vamos a ver esa entrevista juntos, ¿les parece? Espero que la disfruten, tanto como yo la disfruté. Hello, everyone. On this episode of In Conversation with Ricardo Calderon, I am joined today by a singer-songwriter and recording artist, Samantha Gibb. I am so thrilled and happy to have her on my program, on my podcast at last. What an honor. Hi, Sam. How are you?
Hi, I'm wonderful. Thank you so much for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you on my podcast. Um, It's been a while since I had a nice opportunity to chat with you and Spencer Gibb last year for the Saturday Night Podcast. It was so thrilling for me back then, but now I
Hmm.
have put together some questions to ask you about your career as a pop singer. Can I start?
Of course, yes, please.
How do you get inspiration for a new song?
It kind of comes in different forms. Whether it be me just reading through words, or just playing a melody, or the other day I started singing a melody in my head, and I went to the piano and started playing that melody, and then sent it to Laz, and I was like, oh, so it's little, and it's even something so tiny, it can even spark off something else. So I just try to keep that flowing, and then when we get in the studio, usually it's a collaboration that starts to create the song.
Great. And do you ever get ideas for songs in your sleep? I wonder.
You know what? Sometimes melodies, yeah. I typically will forget them. I have to have my recorder, so I have to usually record it right away. It more so happens in the shower
Oh,
than
when you
when I'm
take a shower.
sleeping. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Morris Gibb was your dad. Having him surrounded, having him surround you all the time. Did that was that an inspiration for you to start a career as a solo singer?
It definitely was. I think singing became something really natural to me. I knew I could, and I remember just showing my dad when I was little, trying to just seeing like, do you think this is good, and asking his opinion. Um, the urge and the want to sing and to make music definitely was just in me, because I can't remember a time when I didn't want to do that. Watching my dad was definitely an inspiration of what kind of musician and writer and artist I wanted to be.
And were you influenced by other artists and other sounds, perhaps?
Abs- Absolutely.
Can you talk a little bit about that, please?
uh well, I think one of my first, as I got older and like really started to get more into writing, I think Ani DeFranco was a huge and is a huge influence on what I want to write. Fiona Apple, Beatles, Led Zeppelin. Um, I could go on. I think there's inspiration everywhere, even in like silly songs. Like Ricky Tikki Tavi and Donovan. Like there's so much inspiration all over. I couldn't give you just one. I love a lot of music, all different varieties too. So.
And how would you define the genre of your songs? I bet it may have been influenced, like I said, by other performers and sounds, but would you define your music as something different?
Depending on which version of music, I guess that this new stuff that I've been putting out is definitely a bit more alternative pop, I guess I would say. Um, it's been compared a little bit to Halsey. So I think there's just certain vibes that, you know, it, it I don't know. It has a little bit of pop, but it's definitely not a typical pop song.
And tell me, what is one message you would give to your fans through your music?
Um, to look out for each other, and to be kind to each other.
That's a good message, in this crazy world of ours,
It's
this world
important.
seems to be upside down, and we've been going crazy with this thing that was happening in the past, that has been happening in the past 3 years, this
Yeah.
COVID-19 thing, And I've been listening to your music, and I've been watching several interviews with you on the internet, and
Hmm.
I have read, and I have seen videos where they talk about Samantha Gibb and the cartel. Could
Hmm.
you? And I love one song that you did for an EP that's called "Wrong Side,"
Hmm.
and where Laz appears, and another two musicians, I guess.
Oh yeah,
Um,
the cartel was myself, Lazaro Rodriguez, and Nick Salons, and when on occasions Chris Morrow, Christian Morrow. Those are
and
the core.
would you tell me a little bit about the other songs that you did on for this EP?
For the new EP or for Wrong Side?
For their own side.
Wrong Side has, I think it's Wrong Side, Stay or Please Stay, Take It Easy, I think, right? I'm not sure
Yeah.
which is the one you're thinking of. I know that obviously Wrong Side is the main track, but it's
And
been a
this
while.
this this year, this year you put out another song. I think it's "Sorry Not Sorry."
Yes, we put out most recently we had recent the past couple of years since my last conversation with you, we put out Spiraling, which was in like before the summer of last year, then the Christmas song, and then most recently we have Good Lovin' that came out in the summer. Sorry Not Sorry just recently came out in September. And then we have a new EP release coming out in December 9th. That's going to be for the holidays called Echoes, which is I'm really
Very
excited about.
shortly, and that will be in a few days.
Yes, yeah.
And when you're doing a live show, what is your favorite song to perform?
Ooh, it's been a while since playing live. Um, I think Please Stay has was always a definitely a favorite of mine. Um, Let me think. Let Go. Let Go is always really nice because it's very simple and broken down. Um, yeah. Can't Go Back. Can't Go Back was always I really enjoyed playing that one.
And can you talk to me about the song "Stay," which came out in 2012?
The, well, what about it? What would you like to know?
Um, what's the message? How do you get inspired to write that song?
That's the please is it's Please Stay because there's Stay and there's Please Stay. So I think on that
Stay.
album it's Please Stay.
Yeah, I'm
So
referring to
please stay. That
that
one?
one. Yes, yeah,
Okay.
you got it right. Yeah.
That's that would actually it was kind of a cool story because it was Laz and I, we were in California and we were both dating people at the time, and we were sitting and I remember he came, we were sitting in the room and we had to go back home to Nashville, but they both lived in LA, and we both sat there and just his girlfriend at the time, she had these like cute little quirks, like she'd like blink twice, or she would do these little like facial actions that were just when she was upset or mad at something. So that's kind of how it developed and started. And the idea was that it was more like of his story, but we were telling the story about having to leave these people that we really love, and not knowing how to tell them because it was still the beginning of a relationship, you know?
Oh, wow, it's a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
And do you always write your songs with Last, or do you have other songs of your own?
Typically, I mean, I have stuff of my own. I feel I I always like, for me personally, I just think things can always be better, and I like to get out of my own way when I'm listening to music because I just don't think that my way is the right way. I just don't have that kind of mentality with writing. I always think, well, what else can we do, or how else can we make it better? And I think we have a great he just the way we can kind of mesh, whether it's melodies that he's giving me that I'm able to portray and like actually sing, and he's not able to do because he'll show me on the guitar or something. And there's just a great way that we bounce off of each other. And so yeah, it's typically with him. I think maybe there's like one or two songs out there that might have been just me when I was little, like my first song written with a friend. But other than that, it's been a team effort for a while now.
Now that you're talking about that song that you wrote when you were little, do you remember what it was? Was it a
Uh,
song that you still can remember?
it was Hummingbird Love.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I had a friend, she was with me, she helped me write it. Sarah was her name, is her name. She's still doing stuff. Well, she's not a musician or anything, but
Could
yeah.
you tell me a little bit, or can you recall those days when you did The Bridge and Angela Mercy with your dad and your brother
Mhm.
Adam?
Yeah. I mean, I guess to recall it, it was, yeah, it was a really cool experience because that was like the really the first time that we really kind of, well, especially my brother and I always collaborated with my dad, but when it came to the writing, he really just he gave me that space to write. So it was the first time we actually got to really write together. So that was really cool.
So it was Morris your producer in the beginning,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Him and John Merchant. John Merchant was the engineer, and
the
my dad
engineer.
was producing. Yeah.
And do you still have contact with John Merchant?
Hmm. Yeah, I actually just wished him a happy birthday not too long ago.
Oh, really? Oh, that's great. And
Mhm.
and I have so many questions to ask you, but what is the best advice that you have been given to stay in the business, or to be in this sort of in this business that you're in?
Well, probably my dad was. He had said, you know, open the doors for you, but it's up to you whether you're going to keep them open. Like you have to do the work if you want those opportunities to stay because they will go away very quickly. And it taught me because I guess I didn't really have it wasn't really like really work ethic. We were taught growing up like because we were there was tours and stuff like that. Like that wasn't necessarily instilled in like my brother and I, but we were able to manage, I think, in his way. My brother had school and stuff that helped kind of give that structure, whereas I used it with music, and that kind of, I knew I had to work hard at it if I wanted to be good at it to begin with, and then on top of it to actually make any kind of career or work out of it, you know.
And what is your creative process like? How do you write a song? And
It stems with an idea, and then either I get on the piano or guitar, Laz gets on the piano or guitar, and we'll go back and forth with that melody. It's been really cool working with other we've been working with other writers more recently in the last couple of years, which even the newer music that we have out is co-writes. And it's been really awesome to see even more so how we can expand in music and what else we can do with another person involved. So it's again, it's that whole thing of like, maybe we should get out of our own way and now let's embrace really writing with other people. Laz writes with other people a lot, but I was more I've always had, I think because I'm more introvert in my head and stuff, I tend to kind of just sit like, oh, this is actually what I can do. I can a process is sometimes I'll go into the other room and Laz will be in one room and I'll be in the other room listening to what he's playing, and I'll go and I'll just sit and write. And that's always been a way too. I did that, Spencer and I, that's also how it worked when we were working together. So it was very uh it's almost like being in your own little world, and then we come
mhm.
together and then it's like then we express that and extend more. So but I do usually need that, and sometimes other writers like to be all in the room. It's everybody's got a process. So but I've learned, I think, more and more that I think I was more just paranoid that other artists would, or other songwriters would judge how I did it. But everyone is all quirky and we all do things differently. So it's,
So,
yeah, it's
so the
pretty
first
cool.
thing you do is make it the music, and then you come up with the lyrics.
It's a pat. I mean, like I said, sometimes I have an idea or the lyric in my head, and I just want to use like I want to figure out how do we develop around that. Like this is the idea. So, like I said, it does change. There are certain processes that are kind of my go-tos. Like I said, with going to another room, or I typically will also I collect words. I don't know if that makes sense, but I when I like words or when I think words are interesting or um, just the way even like a phrase or the way something falls off of the other word of the other I think I like to collect all those and then I'll sift through that and whenever a word pops out whenever what the mood is that I'm feeling or whatever the vibe is in the room I'll go through those words and I'll start saying those words and then we can kind of go from there as well.
And does Lasso also write lyrics and eventually you two together put the lyrics together?
Typically I lean definitely more into the lyric, but he definitely contributes to lyric as well. But he's definitely more the music man where he's his head is full of all those other ideas that I can't wrap my head around, that
So he's
you can
also
just hear.
he's arranger. He does the
Yes.
arrangements
Yeah.
and the production of.
Yeah, yeah. We'll produce together and then he goes off and he does like he'll bring it to me and then we kind of I'll give fresh ears, but he is the main producer. He is the one doing all of that. Yeah.
And do you have any plans to write songs in Spanish, maybe to reach the Latin American Spanish speaking world?
Absolutely. I when I was young, I was in a girl group. And we did
China.
Spanish and English. Yeah, I don't know if it's really correct to say the name anymore. We would call the China dolls, but I'm not very proud of that. It was yeah, I'd like to say we were in a girl group. But yeah, it was with three other friends and we sang in Spanish and in English. So it was really fun. And I would love to do it actually. So it's a good reminder to kind of get on that because that'd be really fun.
How good is your Spanish now?
It's not as good as it was. I was actually talking to my godmother and she's from Colombia. And I'm just like, hola, ¿cómo estás? And I'm trying. I'm like, Nai, I need your help. Like,
And then you get
I,
lost.
yeah, I'm like, I need to brush up on my skills. I'm like, my Spanish is so bad.
Oh gosh.
But yeah, I gotta get better. I mean, I like to because my son is also. I want my son to learn Spanish, and I mean, even when he was younger, I was getting him to count in Spanish and stuff. Um, but yeah, that's definitely I've got to brush up on it, especially if I'm going to do a track.
Tell me, in future, do you have plans of putting out records? I mean, CDs and stuff like that.
We are going to make a short run of this the Echoes EP that's coming out in December. We're going to do like a short run just because it's really expensive to make. They're expensive to make, and then on top of it, it's almost like it's like making vinyl now. It's just like it's very you have less people wanting to get that, but I definitely know what it's like to want that. Like I love vinyl, so I know that feeling is like having that and listening to the tracks that way. So we're
Mhm.
gonna do a short run of some CDs
It's
for
a sort of feeling. It's
fans.
a different kind of feeling when you listen to a vinyl. You can see here behind me. There are two
Mm-hmm.
vinyls: the ESP album
Mm-hmm.
and the Living Eyes album, which is my favorite one, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Your dad is right there.
Yeah.
I love that album. And
Uh-huh.
talking about that, yesterday I got 3 CDs from CD Japan. Let me
Mhm.
just hold them. We got three.
Ah,
I'm sorry, 2 Living Eyes. I think there's one more. I have here.
oh, nice.
This is just to show how pleased, how happy I am with this song, with this album. And
Mhm.
I got like 20 copies of this one from different editions, especially Japanese. Have you ever heard listen to these songs?
Yes, yeah.
Because this came
That
out in
it's
1981.
yeah,
That was about 40 years. You must have
yeah.
been very little.
I was one.
You were one. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I see. And do you recall, can we switch off a little bit from the subject? And can we talk about a little bit about the Bee Gees? have you ever witnessed your dad and Robin and Barry together making music or rehearsing or writing or making a video or something like that?
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah. So that was that was growing up. Yeah, they would make videos and we would watch that stuff and I'd watch them. I mean, we'd grow up. New Year's was always to gather around and they would always jam on their guitars or when we'd hang out. More so when I was younger, but yeah.
And did you used to watch them in concerts
Yeah. Yeah, I
many
used to go on
times?
tour. Yeah, up until I was about 12, I was on tour with them. We'd always go on tour, my brother and I.
Oh wow!
Uh,
And later on, you did appear with Barry in 2013 on the
mhm.
on Barry's Mythology tour.
Yeah,
What songs
yeah.
did you sing with him?
I sang How Can You Mend a Broken Heart? And then I sang Heartbreaker, You Win Again. Different versions of them. But You Win Again, If I Can't Have You. And then I sang backup on a couple of songs like In the Morning and stuff.
And
But
when you did If I Can't Have You, did Barry sing falsetto or did he sing in his natural voice?
oh, I sang it on my own. He didn't sing on it. I
Oh,
just sang the song. Yeah, it was like that If I Can't Have You, You Win Again, and Heartbreaker were just me.
oh gosh, great.
Yeah, it gave him a breather.
And do you think I can find the videos for those songs
You
on the
should be,
internet?
yeah, yeah. You should be able to.
I
I
look
think, yeah. I'm pretty sure all three of those are on the internet at some point.
I
Don't know how
looked them
good the
up.
quality.
Oh wow. And any plans for next year?
Lots of plans, lots of writing, more releases. I think for sure. And I think we're really we're focused very much on pitching and stuff like that. I love for film and TV and stuff like that. That's um kind of where my heart is, just because I'm definitely more of a kind of I'm not so active in like wanting to play out and do all that kind of stuff as much as I used to. My son's getting older. I'm kind of just there's a lot of that mom stuff I want to be around for, and doing tours and stuff can be really hard. So I think I think the main focus is really on writing and making more songs and then kind of seeing where that takes us, because already all the music that we've just released, like the last two songs, well, three songs, but the reaction has been just really cool, and it's been unexpected, I guess. There's been a lot more of a response, and doing more of these kind of things where I'm getting to talk to people about my music and myself. And so I don't know, we'll see where that might go, because if the offer arises, I'm definitely open to doing stuff, but it's a lot when it's you doing all the work, when you have to do the footwork. So for
And
now I'll just stick to writing.
would you like to appear in any TV show in America? Like say The Tonight Show?
Oh yeah. I mean, but you got to have some stuff. I mean, I feel like I should have done something grand really in order to get onto something like that. But I think like a Kelly Clarkson maybe.
Have you ever met Jimmy Fallon?
I didn't meet him, but I got to be there when my uncle did the show, which was really cool. So
Yeah,
I got to sit in the back and like watch and like see everybody walking by and like Hugh Jackman and be like, wow,
but it would
geek
be
out.
awesome if you were there one day, wouldn't it?
Yeah. And all of a sudden it's like, hey Jimmy, why don't you just interview me?
I
Sure.
think fans around the world, can write to Jimmy asking him to invite you over to his program.
Hey.
I can do that. Yeah, and
Hey,
I am definitely willing to write to him. I guess he can listen to people around the world, because his show is a great show, and I watch it regularly, on cable TV.
I,
Anyways,
I I think I actually did write to Ellen ago. I tried to tweet at her And I never got a response. And now she's off the air. So that there goes that idea.
Oh wow, that would be cool, Yeah.
Well, maybe I
Um,
can just get invited over and she'll just do an interview there.
and what instruments do you play, Sam? Do you play the guitar? Do you play the piano? Do you
hmm
play any other instruments?
I also play ukulele. I'm not great, but I play ukulele as well.
Oh wow.
So,
And did you self teach yourself, or
yeah.
did you learn it from your dad?
No, no, my dad never, wasn't a ukulele kind of guy. If anything, a banjo, he knew more of. But but yeah, guitar, he started with me and I used to play a little bit with him. And then really it was more Laz that taught me, like he taught me like flamenco and things like that, started teaching me different styles. And then it just like I just continued to learn. Again, I'm not by any means a great guitar player or a great piano player or a great ukulele, none of the above, but I can pull it off and I can write music with it and I can get the job done, I guess.
How many
So,
guitars do you have?
well,
Acoustic guitars.
there's a few.
Oh wow. Was any one of them, is any one of them from your dad? Was any one of them your dad's guitar?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the black, the black one on the left.
Is that a
I'm pretty
12 string guitar?
Yeah, that's a 12 string. And then no, that's not
Is
12
that
string.
the
Sorry.
guitar he
I forgot
uses
there
when
was a
he,
12 string.
I
No,
see.
it's not the one from the video. Not from This Is Where I Came In.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
No, it's not that one. It's not that one. That's a cool one. That was
May
my
I ask you
favorite.
who has it?
You
Or
know,
where is it?
I would hope that my Uncle Barry has it because I would hope that that's not in storage. Or we might actually have it in a box. I just have to ask Laz. But we can pull him in after and I'll ask Laz if it's here. But yeah, so and I mean the piano, that's from Middle Ear. That was the piano that they had there. So that's pretty cool. I mean, that's probably my favorite thing that I could have possibly gotten from that studio. I was very grateful. But yeah.
I guess you must have lots and lots of great memories, fond memories of your dad, Sam.
Mhm. I do.
Oh,
I'm very grateful that I do. Yes.
and one last question. How do you feel to be part of the Gibb family?
Um, I feel hmm, I feel lucky. I feel hmm, because it's not a matter of being lucky because it's just that there's my family. I just because if they're sorry, it's a hard question.
Is it?
Because yeah,
Do you
because
feel
I
nostalgic?
huh?
Do you feel nostalgic?
It's more just like how do I feel being a part of the family? Like yeah, I love my family. I'm grateful to be a part of that family. I'm grateful to know and to have seen a lot of the things I've seen. Some things maybe not, but that has nothing to do with the family. You know what I mean? Like I think just I'm grateful. I'm grateful that I had my dad. That's my mom, and my dad. Because they kept things real. My dad was very a
Loving?
very grounded, very loving, but also very grounded man. You know, and so I'm grateful I got to see him and his growth also because he went through a lot of trials. So I got to witness and go through that and be a part of that with him. So there's a lot of tough stuff, but all of that stuff made it even more amazing, and I'm more grateful for it because it made me the kind of person I am now. And I think I like who I am. So
He was the
I'm
man in the
happy.
middle. He was the man in the
Hmm.
middle.
Yes, he was.
I always loved his voice. It's so soft, so angelic, you know.
Hmm.
And he
I
was
know
the
it always blows my mind when I talk to people and I'm just like they're like, wait, what? I'm like, yeah, he's a high harmony. You know that, right? Like,
yeah.
and people never
Can you talk a
understood that.
little
Like,
bit about
wait.
that? High harmony. You were there with the Bee Gees.
Well, not all
Um,
the
what
time.
was did Morris do that that melody, that voice that was really high, even higher than Barry's?
Yeah, he was the high harmony. So that, I mean, whenever you hear those songs and you hear those highs, that's him. You know,
He did a
he mixed.
song.
I mean, he could do all different. He had a very good range, my dad. And especially when it came to harmonizing, he was very good.
He did the song "Wildflower" on this album,
Hmm.
"Wildflower,"
Hmm.
and
I think that song personally, I thought it was about me just because he called me a dandelion when I was a kid because my hair, I recently found out I have uncombable hair syndrome, which is a thing apparently, but I had this very big white fro of my hair for my as my hair when I was young, and so he used to say that he would wanted to pick me up and just go and just
oh,
my hair
really?
like that. So that's
So
why
you,
whenever I always just I don't know because I he's not here, I can't ask him. So, but I always kind of when I think of that song, I covered the song. We never released it, but I did we have a version out there that I think we might end up putting out eventually.
yeah, it would be great if you sang it and put it on
Well,
record.
I have it. We have it on file. Like I just we're going to revisit it. I think we just got involved with other music and we started writing and we were like, let's just wait on it. So we decided to kind of put it on the back burner. So I'm sure we'll bring it out again.
So when you listen to "Wildflower" from this album, and I know that Morris is the lead vocal there, but when it comes to the chorus, what voice does Morris? What voice did Morris do? Did he do
Okay.
he do the melody, the high part, or the lower part, the bottom
I don't
part?
know. See, these are the kind of questions that maybe Spencer could answer for you.
And can you
He's
record?
very good at that
Would you
trivia.
be able to
I don't know.
recognize Morris's voice if you listen to the chorus?
Most of the time, yeah, most of the time. But again, like he was singing lead on it, so it could have been Uncle Barry doing it. I don't know. So it's they sound there's a reason that they blended so well, you know. So
They've been the
if
greatest.
if you gave me each of their tracks, I could tell you who was my dad. But if when it's blended all together, it can be hard to detect it.
Really. Wow.
Yeah.
Sam, it's been a pleasure to have you on my podcast in conversation
Thank
with
you.
Carlo Calderon. I am more than thrilled and pleased and happy to have had you here on this show.
Thank you.
I thank you so much, and
Good.
a huge thanks to Lazaro Rodriguez. Give him my regards and
I will.
tell him that I'll be texting him on Messenger soon. And
Okay.
all right,
Yeah, let me know when or let him know when you're planning on airing it and we'll share it and all that fun stuff.
I'll talk to him. I'll talk
Okay.
to Laz,
Okay.
right? And he mentioned something to me. I need to have a conversation with him because this conversation will be edited, and
Hmm.
I didn't want it to be long. I didn't want it to be short. It's
Yeah.
so once again, I wish you all the success, and I would like to see you on with Jimmy Fallon on his throne one day, and let's keep our fingers crossed.
All
Thank
right.
you,
Thank you
Sam.
so much for having me.
All right.
Have have a wonderful day. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. See you.
Well, take care.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Good night. Bye bye. Thank you.